are we going to look back on Bitcoin 10 years from now and say, wow, I remember in 2025 when Bitcoin was at 100K?
Yeah, I think for sure. Uh, if Bitcoin follows the same pattern, the top of the range will reach $1 million somewhere in around 2030, maybe 2031, 2032, that range. So you're gonna see a 10x in could be less than 5 years, and I would say that's fantastic, better than anything you can find anywhere else, except if you go into like super risky investments. There will always be some penny stock that does a 10x in one day, but the risk doesn't justify it, right? With Bitcoin, you have this thing that has a super high chance of success. It's kind of like it's as close as possible to a guarantee, and you still get fantastic performance. Well, you're late a little bit, right? That's fine. But as we say, it's never really late in Bitcoin. Whenever you join, it's going to be still growing faster than any other asset class, any other major asset class. Again, of course, you can find that obscure altcoin here and there that might do something and then die and take all your money with it. But if you're looking for something that's real, that's long term, that has fantastic and strong fundamentals, it's flipping governments, it's flipping conservative pension funds, lots of conservative board members, corporations, and then banks, and that's just gonna explode. We are at a stage where I'm aware of many companies actively trying to begin buying Bitcoin. And the reason you're only hearing a few is that the other ones are still in process. And so, but they've started. And it's, I think we already have like 6 or 7 around the world of Bitcoin treasury companies. And a few months later, that's going to be like 20. A few months later, that's going to be 50, 100. And that's going to be a playbook that many companies are going to play with their excess cash. And it's always, it will remain for decades the top asset class. It will just grow a little bit slower. And, there must be some cost to being later than others. And that's what you pay for waiting for Bitcoin to become a more de-risked asset, right? 4 or 5 years ago, if you remember, the big question on everyone's mind was that if this thing is going to be banned by government. So we didn't even have this guarantee of the most powerful government on earth being the advocate for Bitcoin. Actually, it was like a lot of people were thinking we are going to clash with the government and they're going to kill it, right? So we were actually taking some level of risk, right? But we had the foresight and we did the work, and we maybe also got lucky, and our analysis turned out to be correct that Bitcoin is unstoppable. So it wasn't easy, basically, to get in early. Right now, it's a no-brainer. You got so many people, so many people in positions of power behind it that really the case of banning or dying has completely died off. Now it's just a matter of how will it grow, in what jurisdictions will it grow faster, which institutions will adopt it faster. So, I think it will keep being a super compelling investment. And the sooner you join, the better. However, I will also say that it's very volatile, right? The volatility might bring opportunity. If you've been in a space for some time, you would be able to just even feel, not even having a model, you can feel when people are over exuberant. You can feel when it's the best time to buy, and so on. So maybe you can adjust some of your behavior a little bit to improve. But buy and hold will still be king, and it's going to be fantastic. Again, 10x on a substantial portion of your net worth, I take it. That's amazing, and especially you don't have to do anything, right? You don't have to analyze stock sheets and earnings reports and all that all the time. You simply buy and wait.
Yeah, I think you're 100% spot on. In terms of your perspective, and what else is going to give you these types of returns, and that's something that I want to kind of focus on and talk about, right? Which is, what are your expectations in terms of, Michael Saylor? I'm sure you're familiar with the model that he came out at the Nashville conference, where essentially he was making the case that he expects $13 million Bitcoin by the year 2045. That's his base case. His bull case was like absurd. It was like 50 million. And then his bear case was 3 million, which I think by 2045, if Bitcoin's at 3 million, it'd be a disappointment for a lot of us, to say the least. So what did you think of that model? Does that model align with the model that you have come up with?
Amazingly, his base case matches very well. After 2040 or something, when his period ends, he keeps this fixed growth rate. That's where we differ. But the stepwise growth that he has in the base case for the next however many years, that's very, very closely following the average of the Bitcoin model that we have. So
you said something really interesting there, and I want to explore that, which is, you're essentially that stable 20, I think he is at 20%, right? That stable 20% yearly return. You believe something different is going to happen in the year 2045. Do you think it's going to go down?
Maybe gradually, very slowly, like 20 might become 19, might become 18, might become 17, because, at some point, once Bitcoin captures the whole world and it becomes as big as, real estate, it just can't keep growing, because the money stock will be limited, and the world's wealth it just can't grow by 10, 20%, right? And at that point, we will just be growing by the global growth. Like if the global economy grows by 5%, Bitcoin will grow by similar amount. So, and again, as things get bigger and bigger, they're harder to move. And right now we have this arbitrage between gigantic fiat capital that's flowing it into Bitcoin, and that's enabling Bitcoin to grow fantastic and much faster than inflation and global economy's growth. But at some point, that arbitrage will end, and hopefully that's many, many decades later.
It is so interesting. The concept of, so you think that this is going to match the market cap of real estate? What's the market cap of real estate right now? It's something absurd.
Probably 100 trillion or 200 trillion. Yeah.
So that's like a 50x from now. That's like a 50 to 100x. 150 to 100x. And what type of timeline are we talking about, Sina?
20, 30 years, something like that. Yeah. And basically, Bitcoin has this interesting feature where it either dies, which, like I said, that was something you could have said 10 years ago. But right now, that's kind of off the table. Or it grows to becoming one of the biggest asset classes in the world. The reason for that is it has the fundamental that outperforms pretty much everything else for what it does. Like if you want to store a value, that's the best thing. If you want to move money fast, that's the best thing. The only reason like Bitcoin's medium of exchange functionality is perhaps, I don't have any data on this, but possibly getting less traction, is that we have this government mandate of, you have to use fiat currencies by fiat, so by government fiat. So other than that, like if it didn't have that government force, better technology would have captured a lot of the currencies, a lot of other asset classes and so on much sooner. But it will happen nevertheless. And there is basically no reason for the world to not adopt Bitcoin as their store of value. As it becomes, when you analyze things, are you going to put the same amount of money in? Imagine Bitcoin has grown, right, to a place where you have a lot less volatility, and it it's on the same market cap as gold, right? At that point, do you like gold better or Bitcoin better? I think the distinction will be very clear to asset allocators, and it will just keep growing and surpassing and capturing. If you want to store money, do you put it in real estate, where you have to pay taxes, you have depreciation, you have all sorts of jurisdictional issues, and you have lack of liquidity, and you can't send it over, and you can't easily sell it? Is that a better deal or Bitcoin? So it's just, when something is fundamentally 10x or 100x better than another old technology, it will just capture its market value. So it's very plausible to say Bitcoin will be a portion or demonetize a significant portion of the world's assets.
Need liquidity without having to sell your Bitcoin? For more than 6 years now, Ledn has been the trusted choice for Bitcoin-backed lending, with transparency, security, and trust at their core. I absolutely love these guys, and I personally not only have an account with them, but also a loan. And some of the key features that I love about Ledn is the fact that there are no monthly payments. You pay at the end of the term. You also have the ability to roll over the loan as well, and you can pay it back whenever you want. Essentially what they do is that they help their clients unlock the liquidity of their BTC, allowing you to HODL while still accessing the wealth of your Bitcoin. They've been battle tested with their focus on transparency, security, and trust, allowing them to build a proven track record of client success and security, helping tens of thousands of clients harness the value of their digital assets with confidence and peace of mind. Learn more about what your BTC can do for you today. Simply Bitcoin viewers get 0.25% off their first loan by using the link in the video/podcast description. What are you waiting for? Head over to ledn.io today.